Had them all the way, right? Chargers beat the Vikings 24-17. Craig and Dan here with you down in the field at Qualcomm Stadium, your 619 Sports webcasters to break this one down. And Dan, I really want to start with the first half of this game. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. The resiliency of the Chargers special teams. Mike Cypher's stepping up, obviously, to do a yeoman's job. A defense that shut out the Vikings in the second half. But how about that first half? 17-7. Vikings are leading. Chargers get booed off the field by their fans here at Qualcomm Stadium. Those of you who are following us on Twitter, the tweet stream was going crazy. This fan base was in an all-out panic 30 minutes into week one. And it really makes me wonder, Dan, where the mindset is of Chargers fans that we go, as I tweeted before half, from abject optimism, from Super Bowl predictions, to tear this village down and fire everybody 30 minutes into game one.
I'm still there almost. I was awe-struck by the return to start the game. Really did not expect that we were going to see that at all this season, let alone the first play of the game. And then what we saw was the offensive line did not perform well. The defense broke down on third downs and allowed McNabb to convert via his legs, not his arms, but McNabb with his legs. You're not expecting that. So I think there's a lot of things for the Chargers to work on moving forward. With that said, they still got the win. I had to give them a grade. I gave them a passing grade of C. I think they deserved an A in the second half, but clearly an F in the first half, averaged it out to a C for me.
Well, I mean, you give up 7 points on the first play on the kickoff return, and obviously that's a huge black mark, and Rich Bisaccia now can go blame Steve Crosby, maybe. I don't know who you blame for that. It reminded everyone, or it should have reminded everyone, that preseason talk and articles in the newspaper and everyone saying how one year is different from the other, it's talk. That's exactly what it is. It's talk. You've got to do it on the field. But I really thought, to the Chargers' credit, Dan, particularly defensively, a shutout in the second half. And you look in that fourth quarter when the game is tied 17-all, that's when Adrian Peterson is supposed to shine. We heard from players in that Chargers locker room. They were legitimately upset and felt disrespected by Peterson's radio comments saying that he was going to run for 200 yards and the Vikings were going to get a win today. That did not happen.
But it looked like it was going to happen going into halftime. And I reported at halftime Peterson's numbers and said, these aren't record-breaking numbers here, but he is on pace to have a very, very good day. And I thought it was going to be difficult for the Chargers defense to stop him in the second half because they hadn't played together as a unit. For the most part, those guys had only gotten 20 to 30 plays at most during a preseason game. And now you're going to send them out there for the entire game and expect them to not wear down and expect a guy like Peterson to not get the advantage over them in the second half. So I do tip my hat to the defense for making adjustments. That's why I asked Greg Minuski on Friday. I said, what kind of adjustments early on in the season do you think you're going to be making? Are you going to be making big adjustments because you're seeing new stuff? Minuski said, yes, oftentimes you do make some major adjustments early on in the season. I think we definitely saw that came to pass today.
Speaking of passing, I thought Phillip Rivers had a terrible game passing the football. Missed a wide-open Vincent Jackson in the end zone. Should have been 7 points in the second quarter. Badly overthrew Malcolm Floyd in the 2-minute drill. Got hit, went for the first duck he threw for an interception. Really bad throw, although you got to give Jared Allen credit as well for a good interception. That erased another red zone trip where the Chargers came up empty. But really, Dan, when it came down to it for San Diego to win this game, what it came down to was A, offensive line protection, keeping Phillip Rivers upright in the second half. B, taking the underneath routes. Minnesota was dropping back. They were shading, rotating coverage to try and defend Gates, to try and keep the ball away from Floyd and Jackson. And what opened up was Tolbert, Hester, Gates underneath. It was little throws out to the flat and look in. That's how the Chargers moved the ball today.
Well, it's exactly what we talked about after preseason games, talking about this offense that you can choose to shut down something. You can choose to shut down Floyd and Jackson. You see what happened? Well, now you have all your underneath outs, and Rivers was able to exploit that. And he moved the ball and got it around to a lot of receivers' hands today. A lot of people got involved in classic Rivers styles, which makes it harder to defend. So, yes, Rivers got off to a slow start, but I think so did the offensive line. So did Tolbert in blocking. There was a time that Rivers got up into Tolbert's face for missing a block. So the O-line, McNeil got beat, wasn't great to start. So they also made some huge adjustments going into halftime.
And you got to give Mike Cyphers a ton of credit for what he was able to do. Now, clearly, the Chargers are going to bring in another kicker this week if Nate Kaeding is unable to go. If this left knee injury winds up being something serious, a season-ending type injury, you're going to have to go out, whether it's to get Chris Brown again or to peel someone off the free agent market. But while a lot of people were celebrating on Twitter when Kaeding went down and said, oh, well, now we have someone, we're going to lose that kicker who's going to miss the big kick down the stretch, I thought that was unfair to Nate, and it's a serious injury for the Chargers moving forward not to have the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL on your side.
I thought Kaeding was set up to have a monster year this year. He had a phenomenal preseason. Training camp was awesome. Seldom missed a kick. This is huge for the Chargers, and there's also a domino effect that goes with it, because if Kaeding is out 2 to 4 weeks, well, then you're going to not put him on the IR list. You're going to make a roster move to protect his spot to come back, which means does Darrell Gamble get cut? Or who does get cut and able to make that move? Because the Chargers will make a move next week if Kaeding doesn't go on the IR. So either Kaeding's on the IR and gone for the season, or he's out a few weeks and we lose a player on that active roster.
All right, just to wrap things up, I want to again tip my cap to the Chargers coaching staff, because all of you on Twitter who follow me were killing these guys in the first half. And I understand that the Chargers had a bad first half. They shut out the Vikings in the second half. This game was laid out for Minnesota to win. It was at the right score. It was at the right time, the right setup. Everything was set up for the Vikings offense to be able to pound the ball, be able to hand it off to AP all day, as his nickname is, control the clock in the second half, and keep the Chargers off the field. The opposite happened. The Chargers kept the Vikings offense off the field. The defense pitched a shutout in the second half. The special teams came together with a major injury, and they got the job done. So while everyone out there wants to kill Norv Turner, kill this coaching staff, it really makes me wonder sometimes if some of you Charger fans are rooting for this team to win or lose. You hate Norv Turner so much. Sometimes I feel like you guys are rooting for this team to fail just so you can say, ha-ha, I was right. Norv Turner, you're no good as a coach. I give a big tip of the cap to this coaching staff and to this team. They kept it together when Chargers Nation was unraveling at halftime, and they put together a very solid and representative second half.
They did, and they also preserved the possibility for the Chargers to get off to a fast start. Now, Norv himself pointed out in his press conference that this is the third time under him that he's won the first game of the season. So winning today does not in itself equal fast start. And next week, we're going to go to New England, who are 11-0 in Gillette Stadium in their home openers. So there'll be a huge test, and the Chargers simply cannot make the same mistakes they made today, get behind early against the Patriots, and expect to come back and win that game and be 2-0 to start the season and get that fast start. For me, a fast start is winning the first quarter of the season. If they can get 3 out of the first 4 games as a win, which means winning 2 out of the next 3.
Luis Castillo will be checking on his injury situation come Monday for Norv's press conference. And you're right, New England's going to be tough. And if the Chargers go to Gillette and lose, everyone will be on Norv Turner's back again. But you know what? Chargers win here. They scored the last 17 unanswered in this game, and they beat the Vikings 24-17. For Dan McLellan, Craig Elsten down on the field at Qualcomm Stadium on 619 Sports.